Hi guys, my name is Enzo Dell'Acqua, I'm an Italian photographer and I travel all around the world. Going around the world, I always need to find places with a washing machine. But this is another story. This time I'm in Ukraine and I want you to follow me to discover some beautiful and lost places in this magical country. Cheers!
Dream of rain, I dream of goddess in the desert sand. I wake in pain, I dream of love as time runs through my head. I dream of fire.
My adventure in search of forgotten beautiful places starts here in Ukraine, to be exact in the south of the country, in a city called Mykolaiv. My intention was to start from here, a beautiful place called Kirkun Sprit, but unfortunately something went wrong.
They say to me that the road it was bad. You can reach it by boat. And obviously what I did, it was going by car. Believe me, when people say to you in Ukraine that the road is not the best, you can trust him. So after driving for 2 hours in the middle of nothing with nothing around apart from mosquitoes, you cannot imagine how much mosquitoes are there. This was the situation.
Oleg, I lost you. I have to go left or right. Take me out of here. Anyway, stars in the sky were amazing. If you are not fond of wild places, you can easily reach Velika Ukrainska Koza, near the village of Ukrainska. It is a few kilometers from the main road that connects Odessa with Mykolaiv, right on the border of the two regions. Here you can spend carefree hours with kiteboarding, windsurfing or sailing, and for motor fans, taking a ride on the beach with a quad. And those who prefer good food to sport will find here one of the best oyster restaurants in the whole region. Oysters and mussel are directly cultivated and served here.
Wow! So, bon appetit. Thank you. And I will go later to Mykolaiv.
To get the main road, you have to drive a few kilometers of a Pavel road, but it was fun and very easy to drive, even for my city car. So, after reaching the Pavel road, I finally arrived in Mykolaiv. Mykolaiv is a town surrounded by rivers, with about 500,000 inhabitants. When I arrive in a new town, I look for information, perhaps by looking at my colleagues' vlogs. But what I found really scared me.
Don't forget, you're in the city of brides. Their attractiveness, their cuteness, their amazing beauty, their warm and charming nature cannot leave anyone indifferent. Welcome to my lovely Mykolaiv.
Okay, it's not my favorite argument, but I can tell you an urban legend about this. Along the pedestrian promenade in the center, from which you can admire a splendid panorama, you will find this sculpture representing a large flower at the top of a steep staircase leading to the river. The legends say that the bride with his husband came here to make some photograph or something. The bride fall down to the stair and die. I say it's not my favorite argument.
Mykolaiv, it's a new city born much more than 200 years ago, so it was very important that in the city you can find also the love of your life, you can make family. And probably that's why here in Mykolaiv they built something I cannot really understand. A monument to a bride. So romantic. No! No, it's not for me. I was scared, first the video, then the stair, then The statue also of the bride, the bride everywhere. No. I thought, how can I start to describe this city in this situation? I cannot go to the center, for example. Too much beautiful girls. What else? Oh, churches. There are churches there, and also that place with the statue. They do marry there. You know they make marriage. Yeah. And what else? Oh, bar. It's full of great, beautiful bar. You can have incredible tasty drink, and I can wake up the morning after with a terrible headache and wonderful Ukrainian wife from Nikolaev. Can you imagine? No. My idea, it's better to get drunk the same, but fall down. I don't know, inside a cage full of lions, for example. That's why I decided to start my visit of Nikolai from the zoo.
So let's go to the zoo. I think it's less dangerous. Well, it's not correct to talk about the zoo, because in real this is a biopark connected to the great one all around the world. The biopark starts with a collection of aquariums and of fish like that one. He's looking for food. So I asked for the director to be protected against any kind of woman that want to marry me.
Whoa! It's a hammer! Is it for me?
Воспитательная работа.
Hello! How are you? What a zoo! It's incredible!
What to say, Vladimir, it's a real great director. He started his career here, he was really young, inside one association of young supporters of the zoo. He explained to me that he can match his passion for wildlife and animals with his work. After a few works inside this biopark, he became director. Under his guide, the biopark is growing up with new structure and a lot of international connection with other bioparks to exchange animals that cannot stay in little cages but need big spaces to have a good life. Many of the animals that live here cannot survive outside because they burn inside the zoo, or some of them were injured. Most of them lose or are losing their own habitat because of the man activity, like this original bird from Ukraine. This biopark guests thousands of different species of animals, and you cannot believe there are inside some really common species, like the turtle that many people buy for children, and when they grow up they cannot be managed, so they find here a new house to have a good life. In 1987, before being director, Vladimir also started to make a museum of the zoo.
And what about this animal?
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens? So you have a cage for Homo sapiens? A little one.
Inside the museum you can also find the original aquarium right near the portrait of the founder of the zoo. But my attention was attracted by this ticket written in German language, so I discovered that the zoo was one of the only two structures open during the Second World War occupation. Well, can you believe the second one? It was the Astronomical Observatory. So the observatory was for sure the second place to visit. But you cannot go to the observatory during the day, you cannot see the stars and nothing. So I found a beautiful open-air market right 100 meters far from the entrance of the zoo, can you imagine? And it's really convenient place, low prices. By the way, if you are interested in something very, very strange, you can find it here outside the market, where you can find really strange objects. And probably something also for you, why not? Then I decided to take a walk around the city, where I found a lot of monuments about the Second World War. Anyway, near the old railway station, yes, this is the railway station, can you believe? In the center, you find also another kind of monument that was not dedicated to the war but to the city. This monument was built in 1989 for the 200 years of the foundation of the city. The monument represents all the kind of workers and admirals involved inside the history of the city, who is linked to the shipbuilding factory, and during the Russian Empire to the command of the operation on Black Sea. But the night was coming, and it was time to go to the observatory. After a stop to take some cigarette and soap for the washing machine, doesn't matter, I reached the observatory. The observatory is located on the higher hill of the city at 52 meters high on the sea level. And this was my guide, yes, because the director gave me a guide that explained me that this was the founder of the... Okay, I didn't understand nothing.
Potemkin. He found our town. This is our first director, Karl Knorre. This instrument is...
So the only problem was that my guide was a real scientist. You know, this is an astronomer. It's not like me, I'm quite a beast in these things. And so he tried to explain me everything, also about the clock, very important to understand the time, for the timing, to measure the distance of the star, the position of the star. And he explained me also about this guy, I don't know who he is, and then books, and then great telescopes that were used in the past and here, and also navigation instrument, very, very important for a city like Mykolaiv, because here was the command of the Black Sea Fleet.
We have two very long, and astronomer can see and control direction telescope using this vacuum tube. You see this
Columns.
stone,
Yeah.
column. Our astronomer told it is a Nikolaev Stonehenge.
Following a path on the dark, we find this construction. It was building destroyed during the Second World War, and now is rebuilt in exactly the same way it was before. Inside one wonderful telescope, you can take a look with your eyes to the moon like that. I take with telephone this image, you know. Also, the director was there, and you cannot imagine what kind of feeling. Wow! After walking a little bit, we find this mobile telescope, and there is also a group of antenna to follow the signal of satellites. Going inside this quite secret structure, you will find the new telescope. Yes, because the observatory is still working and is monitoring very dangerous asteroids and the movement of many satellites, so they can be managed not to collide. Anyway, after all that knowledge, I really was hungry. When your brain needs energy, the best thing you can do is going to the restaurant and eat something. And I choose this one. And they serve me a drink, a beautiful white wine, good fish, but you can eat everything you want. Fish, meat, you know, they have everything. Also Italian coffee. Well, I've taken fish, then a glass of Italian white wine, and then a coffee, 12 euro. So we discovered that the city is linked to shipbuilding factories. More, It's linked to the history of the admirals that were here, very important one. So it's also normal that the main street, the first one was built in Nikolaev, that start from Central Square with this beautiful theater, is called Admiral Street, surrounded by beautiful trees and park, brings directly to this building was the Officer Circle. Along this road after statue of admirals, you find this house that once was the house of the admirals and today is a naval museum. Inside this museum there are so much pieces you cannot imagine. First of all, a lot of reproduction of boats, little models, all made in Nikolaev, from boats that were built probably here. Oh, but that's interesting. Wow.
Which kind of date is it?
7882.
Yes, it works. It works. We can try. No.
Anyway, a lot of models, 100 models are seen representing the work to build ships made here, historical pieces like this map around the boat. Oh, this is normal. Also, this one is normal. So, such a lot of things that I couldn't describe. You have to go there. Oh yeah, pieces of guns of the Second World War. Also, model of submarines built here. All this from the Second World War and historical pieces, but in my mind, I was thinking that this gun for me is still working. Anyway, before probably destroying it, my attention inside the museum was taken by this painting, and the guide explained me that this place, it's a very ancient place, that it's inside Nikolaev. Oh, I need to find it. Well, I know that this place was inside the city, but how to find it was a real problem. After thinking for half an hour how to solve this great problem, I take Google Maps as any idiot can do, discovering that I was here. It was the Monument to the Bride, here the Nikolaev Observatory, here the museum I destroyed, and finally here, archaeological site Diki said, that in English means wild garden. The name of the place is due to the fact that here it was a beautiful garden where sailors came to have a party to drink champagne. But with time it was abandoned and it became a wild place. And it's still wild now. Look here, what sea full of thorns there are. Jeez, what a pain. Anyway, someone said to me this place was discovered in a really strange way. During a strong storm, a man alone was walking in the wide garden, when suddenly he tripped over an object protruding from the sand. This one was the object, an ancient bronze brazier that made everyone understand that here, probably, there was something ancient to discover. The only person upset was the wife of the gentleman who returned home all muddy. But I need some serious information about this incredible archaeological site. And who better than Kirill Gorbenko could give it to me, the very archaeologist who has worked on this site for years.
You ran away, you don't want. Once that we have one girl,
мой
you run
коллега,
away.
помощник, лаборант.
Kirill explained to me that these ruins date back to the 12th century before Christ, the same period as the mythological Trojan War. He also told me that many of the precious artifacts he found here can be admired at Mykolaiv Oblast Local History Museum. I am probably working on one of the most ancient bridges ever built in the history. This was the only point from which to cross the moat more than 3 meters deep and enter the citadel. Another totally false legend tells that this was the place where the legendary Conan the Barbarian came from. But Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't want to come here. Arnold, why you didn't come here? Surely you will be better than me at sword fighting. The sword is not my weapon. I prefer cannons.
Wow, what a... This one fits me. But is it working?
Being curious about what was found in the wild garden, I went to the museum. In 1850, Emmanuel Franceau opened his own house to all the citizens just to take a look to his very great collection of animals and natural things like mineral, butterfly, any kind of things coming from all over the world. And now it's in a new great place with a lot of interesting things to see. Representation of the life of the Cossacks. You know, Cossacks were a very important population here. The weapons and what else? Documents. A part of the museum is dedicated to traditional life of this region with some interesting pieces and representation of houses, and obviously there is also the carriage for marriage. It's something that, well, there is also vodka, of course, because you have to forget why you take this decision in your life. But finally, I found Mykolaiv ancient pieces coming from the wild garden side, and also pottery coming from all around Ukraine. What else? Oh, a great surprise, a lot of pieces coming from an ancient Greek colony that was called Olvia, so powerful to resist to the army of Alexander the Great. And it was found here in Mykolaiv region. I need to go there and take a look for sure. Also because here they give me a guide that don't let me try any kind of cannon.
Yes, I know, but I cannot leave wet clothes in the washing machine. 1 second, please.
So I take the car because Olvia is 40 kilometers south of Mykolaiv, but 2 hours by car because if you look at the road, it's not road, it's direction, it's all surrounded by a little bit of asphalt. This is a fucking road. Well, after 2 hours of relaxing driving, you can reach the archaeological site of Olvia. Guys, forget the road. The place is amazing. There is an incredible number of house and temple foundations.
Coming inside this ruin, this ancient site, something incredible. Can you imagine just on the road, walking like that, or that? You can find pieces of ancient vases all around. It's incredible.
It's a place you cannot miss at all. You can go down the ground feeling yourself like Indiana Jones discovering hidden tombs.
Probably at the most ancient time of this city, this was a very crowded place with a lot of people making market, noise. But believe me, with such panorama, you can feel yourself in any situation the king of the world.
Well, you cannot be the king of the world if you get the stone inside the shoes.
What? You mean this one? Oh my god. Really? Oh, sorry.
Yes, but put a sign, put something. Well, we don't know how many treasure are still here because a great part of Olvia is hidden under the water of the river. And again was time to leave this magnificent place to come back to Mykolaiv for my last adventure. Obviously, the road was the same.
Da tutte le parti, ma come si fa a tenere una strada così? Porca puttana!
To be honest, not all the roads are so terrific. You can find also good one, and you can find also very terrific car. But let's go back to the city. What to say more? If you like photography, don't forget your camera, because in Mykolaiv you will find a lot of beautiful sights to shoot, including the sandy beaches. And for the one who want to have fun, this is a very relaxing place. You can meet wonderful people. Unfortunately, the time to leave this little paradise was come, so I take the road north, admiring the magical of the country surrounding me, before reaching my last place to visit. Inside the regional landscape park called Granite Steppe Lands of Bud, there are thousands of hectares of granite canyon cut by the rivers on depth of more than 50 meters. 2 hours from the city, near the Aktov village, you cannot absolutely miss this wonder of nature.
So, what are you waiting for? Take a train! Not this one, that sucks. And you come and see by yourself all this beauty. But remember, don't finish here. Follow me to find some other those places in Ukraine.